Welcome to Fear the Boot's actual play. My name is Dan, and I will be game mastering.
This is Mary, and I will be playing Martagon Voight.
This is Doug, and I will be playing Emmett Miller.
Hey, this is Wayne. I'm playing Wade Harris.
This is Julia, and I'm playing Sky Voight.
So before we started recording, we did a recap of last time. I don't know if there's a short version of it to give, because there was quite a bit of information given on your current job in the last game. So yeah, we're going to skip the recap. Wayne will get to keep Beethoven, and the prior episode, I think, was an hour 30-ish long.
Hour 36 or something like that?
Yeah, so
38.
Yeah, if you need a recap, that's my best suggestion is listen to that at 2 times or whatever, because it's a lot. So, all right, you guys, the short version is you are headed to a... Sorry. Don't ever apologize to me again, just do it right. So you guys are headed to a planet within the Midian system. Oftentimes it's all simply called Midian because that is the capital world of Coraster, and that is where you have been sent to try and find in favor of saving the life of someone who was shot in the head. So you guys have a bit of time while your ship makes that journey, because right now you're kind of at the northwestern edge of Coraster space, and you're now headed towards the middle south of the Empire. So do you guys have anything? We'll do investigation, but before we get to investigation, do you guys have any general projects you want to do during that time?
I'm going to... Go ahead.
Sorry. Because I think we did a lot of investigation already. Pretty much everything I could think to do until we get there.
Yeah, I failed spectacularly rolling for Matthias.
Yeah, well,
that
I wanted to spoogle some more.
Yeah, Wade is going to start writing a novel.
Okay. Wade, you have a culture skill, don't you?
I do.
So give me, what's your novel about?
It's gonna be like I don't even know what genre that is, but like political intrigue with undertones of military.
Okay, so you're going for kind of a James Clavell or someone like who's the guy?
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's who more I was thinking. It was like Tom Clancy or
in
something.
space.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So Splancy.
Splancy.
Space Lancy, yeah.
All right, let's see how my progress is starting on this. That's a social.
Yeah,
Social or
I'll
intelligence?
give you your choice between the two, because it's a sufficiently structured book that I think it would survive being dry and factual.
Yeah, Clancy does.
Yeah, exactly. Clancy, Arthur C. Clarke, there are plenty of them where their intelligence leads their writing, not their creativity.
22.
Goodness gracious, Wayne.
I always do
good
well on the rolls that don't matter.
Yeah, that is... Okay, Wayne, if you actually finish this book...
It's going to be very good.
Yeah, you have, like, by the time you reach Midian, I'm going to give you half of this book is done. And the remaining part you've got outlined, if anyone could see this, they would be absolutely contemplating, have we finally had the great American novel 2,100 years in the future? So yeah, you had an outlandishly good success on that.
All right.
Okay, does anyone else have any projects they're undertaking during the time? If not, that's cool too. I'm just always offering the opportunity.
I was going to work on my retrieval system I call the Boomerang.
Okay, give me I know you've got engineering of some type, don't you?
Yeah, just generic engineering.
There you go then. Okay, so intelligence plus intelligence modifier. So it's going to be whatever your base intelligence is plus a D4 plus whatever your... It's just engineering. I'm guessing that's a D8.
Oh, yeah. There's 9. 13.
13. Okay. So at 13, how much do you have left on that project?
It's half full.
Half full.
The little pie chart thing.
Oh, the little pie chart? Okay. And I didn't give you a coin requirement on that.
I don't think so,
What
but
did you write down in the middle?
2 COPT.
You know, we'll go with no. So, you know what? I will actually give it to you. By the time that you get there, the system is effectively working. It's still got some kinks you have to work out over time, but I will at least allow it to always generally work.
Okay.
So I have 2 projects. One's is plot related.
Okay.
But my one that's going to be kind of ongoing is I am going to begin a very long research path on trying to find Mother Bassett.
Ooh, okay. What skills you got?
Oh, gosh. Lots. I don't know. What do you think we would need for something like that? I have contacts, too, so...
Well, I say your contacts.
I have 2 contacts that could help.
So, well, you also have somebody on your ship who could help.
Watcher.
Yeah, so you have a chunk of Watcher.
But I have my ex-boyfriend, Alan Robbins, formerly Colin Jordan.
And that's the one at the news network?
Yes, so I have him as well if I need to pull contacts. But probably early stages I wouldn't.
Okay. And what skills do you have? Let's see if we can find anything relevant.
I have intelligence.
That's your attribute. Thank you. That's an attribute.
Actually, not a lot here. Oh, well, no.
Let me see what you got. I mean,
A lot of my stuff is more military driven.
That's why I used Matthias last time when I was
hand
rolling for-
athletics. Oh, that's a ranged combat. So I was like, well, no, you got solar forearm, but no, it's for ranged combat.
Well, I was thinking like intelligence kind of stuff, like military intelligence. But I don't have any skills in it.
Engineering, weapons, MacGyvering, athletics. Okay, so we'll let you roll through your contacts because of the fact that, you don't have a lot that's going to help you, as you noted, outside of the people you know.
Right.
But the people you know are going to have pretty good insight. Mm-hmm. Okay, so is there a particular strategy you're going to take to trying to find her? And I will tell you now, I'm not going to judge your strategy. I just need to know how to tell the story.
Oh, you're going to judge it.
Right, yeah.
Well, internally as a game master.
Yeah.
As me, I'm going to judge
The
everything you
good
guys
kind of
do.
judging. The kind of
probably
wide
gonna-
judging you do. I'm
gonna start with, like,
silently in the corner.
I'm assuming she's in super hiding, but not in channels that are like low class, right? But they're probably going to have the most information.
Yes, that is highly unlikely.
Yeah, but they may have the most information. So I'm going to start bottom up. So I'm going to start with like low level people to see if they've heard anything or anything strange that could potentially lead to me going up the chain and finding where she actually is. I don't think anybody that I know, or do I want to draw? I don't want to draw the attention of anybody higher than low bottom feeders right now.
Okay, so you want to keep this really off the radar.
I do for now until I learn more. I may
Okay.
put it more on the radar if I learn.
So you're
more
looking
about it.
for what, I guess, was in Mass Effect 2, they called the Great Unseen or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The people that are always there but nobody ever notices.
Correct.
Because they, okay.
like the urchins and stuff. I might hear stuff, but I would also need probably my black market contact. But I don't know if he knows anything about Bassett. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah, I probably wouldn't know. He probably wouldn't know anything. So I'd have to go through Alan Robbins
Okay.
and Watcher, obviously.
Right. So Watcher, because of the fact that he can, or it can compute at incredible speeds, even on limited hardware, is going to help you by just sifting vast amounts of public data.
Okay.
So he's effectively going to run Spoogle from end to end, getting whatever he can from, since you're trying to do slow hanging,
Yeah.
trying to get simple information.
Well, then we'll
So-
just start with him. That makes the most sense to start here.
And he has made a finding. Okay. Well, we'll actually do the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Your character's name is
Sky. What'd you ask?
Mother Sky.
Oh, okay. I thought I was like, did he ask for my character name? I'm sorry.
No. I was asking for. Yes, he knows it's a role playing game. There's some huge, just like
Fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
He is so intelligent.
Right,
Yeah.
it's very meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This.
I was like, wait, what?
He's the Deadpool of AI.
Yes, that's how I was trying to. Yeah,
absolutely.
he's Deadpool. He knows he's in a role-playing
He gets the
game.
yellow text
He's not
boxes.
even just genre aware. He outright knows it's a role-playing game. He sends me emails asking me to change outcomes. No, I have found something that I believe is of interest, but if I were to disclose it, if you don't intend to actually find the mother, may be dangerous to her?
I intend to find her.
Would you like me to give you the information or to expunge it?
Can you give and expunge?
I can, but after this conversation, I will never recall that it happened.
That's fine. Can I, record?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's your own ship. It's your own damn ship. I mean, I'm assuming you guys...
I'm assuming I can keep my own record of
Yes,
this.
well, and your angel is
encrypted.
capable of recording
Yeah.
and whatever. But yeah, in looking through portage data at various planets, I have found a track of genetic information that looks similar to Mother Bassette's in certain key areas. I think this is likely how she is hiding. That she may have changed her, not biological markers, or biometrics, just enough to avoid being spotted. However, there are immutable parts, or at least not safely mutable parts, of the genetic structure that keep showing up.
Okay.
I could continue tracking this, but if I do, I almost certainly will find her. Data expunged.
Okay. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to think about if we want him to pursue that.
Okay, so now let's get into plot-related stuff. I know Doug wanted to spoogle. We'll start at Mary again. Mary, did you have anything related to this plot you wanted to do?
I don't think so. I think I failed real hard at the one thing that I was interested in last time. So.
Well, I will allow you to re-roll.
Okay, I'm still. I mean,
You said that with so much disaster. Okay, fine.
So sad. You're I failed so miserably.
It was. I think I rolled
got
8 on 3d12.
Like I just demanded you mow my lawn or something.
No, it was just
She's not
depressing.
Dragon's Land again.
So,
But yeah, I mean, I need to borrow Matthias again because I don't.
okay,
have
so
it.
what are you trying to find?
The medical records for Emilio, like anything in his
Oh.
family history and stuff like that, or his own personal medical stuff. I got nothing more than his general background family stuff last time I
Okay,
checked.
go.
Can I steal one?
I didn't roll an 8. That's a 18.
18, yeah, which is still, that's a damn good roll. So,
Woo!
all right. So, in terms of medicine, are you trying to find out his longer medical history, or are you trying to find, are you trying to do a little bit more deep digging to find out what his current state is? His current state will be much harder to get.
Yeah, I think if there are any anomalies in his longer term history, but then also, whatever details I can get about his current state of being.
Okay, so as you look through his medical history for this period in time looks fairly straightforward. He was colonized back at the time that most people get colonized. Colonization referring to the implantation of the various biological and non-biological things in your bloodstream that keep you healthy and young. He, other than that, had a few minor problems here and there. The only thing that you notice that is off is at one point in his history, and this was about 2 years ago, he received something called the X117A. So X117A. Now, this was injected into him. You don't have any idea what this is. Like, this isn't a medical term you're familiar with. But he had something called X117A injected into him.
Okay.
You have the name of the doctor that did it.
Okay. Then that is interesting, and I think we're going to pivot research in that direction, just for her own curiosity, if nothing else.
You said 2 years ago?
Yes,
2 years
about
ago.
2 years ago.
Oh, sorry. I have the doctor's name. Is it anybody I've ever heard of, or do I know anything else? Like, I don't know that I would, but has his name come up in papers that I've read or anything?
Your background is in...
Genetics and biology and putting people back together.
Okay, but biology is on there. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to set a lower threshold here for the roll because I'm not going to tie us any skill. Just give me a general intelligence check. I want to see if just you remember something, but I'm going to give you a lower target number since there's no assisting skill.
That's a 10.
Okay, 10. All right. The name, when you see it, there's something about it that is familiar to you. Is this something you're willing to dig around a bit on? I mean, I'm not even saying like hack the NSA, but
yes.
Okay,
I want to. I'm gonna look into it.
Okay, a couple of things. When you finally realize who this doctor is, there are a couple things that immediately strike you as odd, which may be why you had some trouble placing this person in the first place. It's a woman by the name of Dr. Glynn, spelled Glynn, last name of Gertrude. You have never met this woman, but every time you've talked to anyone that has read her papers, met her in person, been to any of her lectures, she tends to simply refer to herself as Dr. Gary, just because it's a way of kind of making her own joke about her name.
Okay.
So, but what you know about Dr. Gary, and the odd thing here, is Dr. Gary's not a doctor of medicine. Dr. Gary is actually a doctor of xenoarchaeology.
Oh, that is interesting.
This is not someone that should be giving medical treatments. Now, you don't know if the person will be present or not, but Dr. Gary does have an office on Midian.
Okay.
So now, you don't know if she's there or not, but she does have an office there.
That's fair.
It's actually Wayne's character from
It is.
the last. Sorry.
It's a really confusing timeline. It's actually Wayne's D&D character as being played by his Skies of Glass character in this setting.
With a frying pan.
It's very confused, yes.
I think, okay.
He has a frying pan made out of a stop sign that he uses in the 42nd century.
Never mind. Okay. I think then I'm like, because if that's the easy to find stuff, I think I will spend the rest of the trip just sort of skimming through some of her papers and just reading some of the stuff that she's written.
Okay. Now, let's go to a technical skill, because now you actually are attempting to interpret what you can learn about this person at the academic level.
You actually have to roll to read.
Yes. No, I'm not. I'm assuming you can read it.
I just have Matthias read it to me. It's fine.
Yeah, like none of us knows how to read because our angels read to us. Like,
Right. I'll get the new guy. Come in and just read scientific papers to me.
Her specialty is primarily in trying to understand the history of infectious disease as it has related to non-human species.
Okay.
That's primarily what her body of work is on.
Interesting.
Okay, Doug, did you have something you wanted to look into on the way? Are you good?
I'm going to ring Sky up real quick on the intercoms there.
Okay.
Hey, Sky.
what's up?
Space-time range.
Yeah, space-time, spacey stuff.
Spoon.
Lime.
Yeah.
We're having a spoon meeting.
How well do you know Brooks?
I mean, not personally well. I know how she fights. I've never had tea before, if that makes sense.
Okay. Can you find out if her number one guy is still with her, or?
I probably can.
Okay.
Probably can.
All right.
Sky, I have another gun question.
Don't point it at your face.
No, he's been the entire trip, this leg, he has been asking questions for his book.
His book.
You are his reference on guns.
Great on guns. Got it. Okay. But I'm very happy to oblige because I like talking about guns.
Who else are you trying to pull into your project?
I think it's like the guns he doesn't know enough about he wants to get it right.
I also fix a lot of his military strategery.
I was also going to comment that every time you're either working on this book or like drafting out notes in the lunchroom,
I hide.
You also notice Archimedes is never around.
I'll like walk in with an empty coffee cup and just leave.
Yep, there's a whole lot of Grandpa Simpson goes to the
I have to be in the mood to answer your
bordello, yeah. As a figure eight at the door. Walk in, turn around, grab your hat back off the hook, and walk out.
So my plot, well, I'll chase that one down, but I'm also going to get a hold of Shark, who is my black market dealer, and see if I can't get more information about the gun that was used, like if there were any recent sales, because we did say it's a rare one, right? Like it's not widely used.
Okay, so I could use Shark to explain this to you. Let me real quick pull up one note here and look up what I got on Shark.
So my thinking was, if this guy's still out there, he may try and stop us from
Doing more.
Yeah.
But Shark may let me know already
Okay.
if he bought that gun, or, I might be able to find the channels without having to get a hold of Amber and alerting that we're on this job. That's my only worry about getting a hold of her first.
Yeah.
Because we don't know her relationship with Sander.
She could have been hired, and he is just her arm.
Yeah, he may have gotten off the planet immediately after it,
Yeah.
or he may have maybe staying around until the decision is made to make sure that it goes
The way he wants.
The way he was paid.
the way he's being paid.
Yeah. Ooh, wait, can I have one of those?
Okay. Julia, you are able to have a direct comm with Shark, but Shark apparently never talks to you directly.
No.
So what you are talking to is a completely
I hope it's a cat.
generated. You know what? Then we're going to go with that. It is a cat. It is like, if you've not seen that video where the lawyer couldn't figure out how not to be a cat in open court.
Sweet. This
Except
is perfect.
he's like doing this intentionally, and like it is in fact completely plausible. This man really is a talking cat. This image is so good.
And I also have no clue what he looks like.
It's also possible he's not a man.
What do you want, meow?
Yeah. He could be, any number of things, because you always see him through some other way. But you are now having a conversation with what appears to be an orange cat with white underbelly sitting on the arm of a recliner.
Sweet.
And it's like just close up on this cat. And there's like the background is like this wildly, overly indulgent office with cherry wood furniture and leather-bound books, and
It's like a Zoom background.
Overstuffed leather.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm going for here. This is some cheap, like I'm totally not in my basement in my underwear Zoom background.
Sweet.
So that is exactly.
He probably does this just so he doesn't have to get
Oh,
arrested.
you
It has nothing to do with hiding.
I mean, this
in
is
my
only
brain.
a little bit less distracting than the time you had to talk to him as a dolphin out in the middle of the water.
Cool. So this is like normal.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually happy that it's
Right, you don't have to
somewhat
call him Echo this
plausible.
time.
Yeah. I don't have to like reference a weird game that somebody told me about from ancient times.
So Shark the cat.
I just put talking with a cat, aka Shark, in my notes.
So as he listens to you as you're talking, and every so often he just cleans a paw and his tail whips around. You're
Serious AI.
Occasionally makes biscuits in the chair.
occasionally makes biscuits, knocks something off a shelf, whatever. And so, but he listens as you're talking to him about what you saw, and a voice responds that is in perfect sync with the cat's mouth, lips, everything. As so much as a cat can show expressions, this thing is showing expressions, perhaps at times in an almost slightly too human way. But the cat says, an Asir plasma rifle, they're the killer's best friend. Okay, let me perhaps try and put this gun in context. A few centuries back, when the neutral trade space between certain species was being formed, each of those planets and systems needed to be administrated by someone. And so there were a series of treaty negotiations to determine which race or which government would control each planet, each system within trade space, because somebody has to keep the lights on and maintain basic order. Mm-hmm. In those negotiations, the Asir performed in a way to a rival species that is a literal, now textbook example of how not to negotiate.
Oh.
They botched it hard, and a series of primarily Asir inhabited systems ended up under this other species' control.
Okay.
Now, since then, the species has been in an on and off war with this other species. The Asir have been in an on and off war with this other species. And there are simmering revolutions and acts of rebellion on these planets. And as a result, the Asir have sought to churn out highly effective energy weapons, but do so by making them difficult to trace, by making them highly part interchangeable, and by making them very, very simple to use. This is very against their typical psychology, which is why it's almost certain that the project to design these weapons, they are receiving some form of external assistance on. Because the Asir have a nasty habit of over-engineering things. These weapons are reliable and of great quality, and they're under-engineered. So telling you what the weapon is easy. Telling you where it came from is going to be a lot harder, except to say it's not from around here. You would have to either get that off the black market or from someone who travels well outside of core Aster space all the way up past the Asta into Asir space, or at least along what they call the spine of trade space, which is the neutral systems. But humanity is not, some of you would know, humanity on that side of the galaxy does not directly abut trade space.
Okay.
I think I put a map with one of the prior recordings. What the heck did I do
With the actual
actual big map? Yeah, the printed one. Because I could make this make a little more sense. And for the people at home, there you go, thank you. For people at home, I'll link this again in the show notes if you want to see what I'm looking at. Okay, so looking at Yon map, so Midian/Core Aster is there. Mm-hmm. You guys were up here, so you're right now traveling to here. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a Seer space. Mm-hmm. This empty area here, that's all what they call trade space. That is neutral space that is meant to be used for the open trade of literal commerce, but also the exchange of ideas. The idea was to simply get the races of the galaxy interacting with each other more
in a central location,
in a series of locations. And by right, there's a whole chunk of trade space through here that really should have been given to the Asir. But they bombed the negotiations, and so this species, the Mordeth, they actually administer most of those worlds.
Okay.
And the two have a long negative history. This is not a popular reality.
Okay.
So what he's saying is the gun came from this race and somehow made its way down here, which is unusual for it to make its way that far. But if you were dealing with someone who was a practiced assassin who wanted to be able to ditch a weapon and have it effectively be untraceable, because one, they're super generic, and two, it's from nowhere near here, so you can't go down to your local gun store and ask about this. So it's unusual. It's generic, but it's out of place.
So do you know of a black market seller in your network that sells these?
The cat's tail perks a bit. His ears kind of twitch to one side. I'm not aware of a black market seller that doesn't.
Great. So what you're telling me is it's going to be nigh impossible without a face.
Not likely, no.
What if I had the gun?
If you had the gun, then I could at least give you some places to start looking.
Can we get the gun? Do we know that?
We don't know.
Okay.
If you can get the gun, then there are things we can do in chemical analysis to try and determine precisely where alloys came from, the rate at which certain parts of the gun are aging. Sophisticated stuff, but it can be done.
Okay. How did we find out? This is a question outside of this conversation. How did we find out what gun it was? Was it in the report?
This is all from
We
the
saw it in
video.
Or was the video?
Yeah,
Okay.
This is the Zapruder analysis.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if it was the Zumba thing or if
Yes,
that
it
was
was.
Yes.
an analysis. Okay. Okay, then I'm gonna see what I can find out. I might be contacting you with some more questions and money, of course.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, then we will fast forward to the ship arriving.
No, I think the only other thing we said that I would finish my contact unconsciousness taser before we get there. My chemical.
You want, okay. And is this going to be, refresh my memory, is this a mechanical device, an implanted biological.
No, just a mechanical device, like a literally like a taser, except for a chemical compound that would just lead to unconsciousness.
Okay, so
And I think we said, oh shoot, now I don't remember if I wrote that part down.
well, if you did not, we'll go and give it stats right now.
Yeah, we don't have stats for it, but I think we said I was going to make it more generic, less human specific.
Okay, no, that works.
Yeah.
There's no chemical or electric pulse that will work on every species in the galaxy.
Right.
But they're the ones you're more likely to encounter
And
than
that's
not.
yes.
I mean, one species actually has a near rock-like layer on its outside, and 2 needles are not going to penetrate that. Mm-hmm. But, all right, so we'll go ahead and give it stats to put down. You have your stunner. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Stun gun.
Yeah. I'll come up with a name for it at some point.
Okay. Damage, put down 3d6 M. That's for 3d6 mental damage. Mm-hmm. And how are you picturing this thing working?
I think like not like a mace spray, but more like something. It's for anything that's close enough to be like within like personal threat range. So it'd be more like an injection or a contact chemical, but like specifically.
Okay.
I'd have to tag somebody with it.
Give it okay. Then we'll give it 6 shots at a time before it needs reloading.
Okay.
So it has 6 chemical canisters. Scale on that's going to be 1. Mm-hmm. And in the notes, you put both close quarters, and then also put armor -3. It will ignore up to 3 points of armor.
Okay.
At scale 1.
Right.
Don't try to put this through powered armor.
I
But
wouldn't. That's not what it's for.
someone's stuffy overcoat. It will do a pretty good job of reaching through that.
Okay.
Okay. Last call. All right. You guys arrive. Drop out of FTL in the Midian system. Needless to say, you guys are intercepted at a pretty good distance by a pretty substantive force. Midian does not have the distinction of being in the top 5 most protected systems in the galaxy, but it is still a capital world, and so when you guys drop in, there is a lot of local traffic. I mean, a lot of civilian traffic, tourists, whatever, politicians coming and going, the aides to politicians coming and going, but there are also people that live and work in the system that have nothing to do with politics. There are industries in the system. There are research facilities within the system. Like I said, there's a lot of civilian traffic, but there's also a fair bit of system-level governance and also federal military traffic that's present. So you guys are seeing for the first time, at least in a while, a really large ship presence. Like if you guys were to start counting off the presence of warships or support ships for warships in the system, you would easily get well up into 3 figures, maybe very low 4. And they are all about the place. Many of these are very top-of-the-line ships, at least as far as the Core Aster military goes. And upon you guys entering the system, a pair of system patrol craft, so basically non-FTL or maybe rail riders, they don't have a standalone FTL. They're just meant to operate within system, and most of their spare space is a mix of sensor equipment and weaponry. So these are smaller ships, but they're designed to pack a pretty powerful punch. But 2 of these immediately go on to an intercept course and signal you to bring the ship to a stop. And we don't need to role play this out unless anyone's really interested, but they ask what you're doing, they ask, what your business is here, and the moment anyone drops the name that they are here as a guest of the Andrada family, then they instantly stop questioning and basically just rubber stamp you through.
Oh, and that's like the second sentence out of my mouth.
And that's as long as the conversation goes. It's, bring your vessel to all stop, prepare to be searched, and what's your business here? We're guests of the Andrada family. Okay, have a nice day. And they move on. And unless you're going to try and put that as a feather in your cap, yes, they did actually verify that.
I was going to say,
This is not a get out of jail.
File that away
Yeah,
for
this is-
future reference.
This is not like saying your chest hurts to get seen faster in the ER.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true. Please don't abuse that, but it is true.
Or you can't breathe. Breathing problems and
problems.
chest
My chest hurts, I can't breathe, or an incoherence of
The
speech.
first time I was a child and didn't-
First time you were a child, so you've been long since then.
I'm sorry. The first time when I was a child and went to the hospital for not an asthma attack,
Yeah.
I was super pissed and didn't understand why I was waiting because my entire life I'd gone to the hospital because
Oh,
of
with
asthma.
massive pulmonary issues.
Right, like I was having asthma problems instead of a broken foot or something or
Yeah.
whatever I had, and I was like, "Why am I sitting here?"
You,
Just like first world
you got a
problems
low
for Julie.
triage.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys are then sent on from there to the actual planet, which I think is actually the third. I don't know, it's like the fourth planet in the system, whatever the heck it is. But when you move on to Midian itself, Midian has a rare distinction. Among other things, it is what they call a garden world. Now, what is a garden world? A lot of planets are settled, but that's because a lot of planets have been terraformed. Even when planets are found that are otherwise good candidates for life, life does not tend to be found, which is why a lot of planets that you visit within human space will have flora and fauna that's pretty damn similar to Earth. Now, there are exceptions to that. There are planets that they come across and find already teeming with life of their own. Midian is one of those. Midian has its own unique botany and zoology and whatever to it.
It happens to not be super toxic to humans.
Correct. That this happens to not be super toxic to humans, or at any rate, colonies now deal with whatever was super toxic to humans. And so people are now coexisting alongside of this. And I'm sure this will all come crashing down when somebody accidentally brings in like a starling or something and it...
Possibly a very venomous snake.
Yeah. Or not. I still can't believe the American freaking bullfrog is tearing
my God,
apart
yes.
Australia.
Yep.
Nothing should survive down there, and yet it's a freaking frog.
Yep. Cane toads.
Or the sturgeon in here, like
Yeah.
the sturgeon that are killing
Yeah.
fish.
Yep.
But anyway, so it is a garden world. It is very well populated. Its population is going to clock in the billions. It is a center of commerce, governance, and also of learning. Of these systems that have been here, or I guess they've been here a damn long time, of the systems that are part of the Core Astral League, this particular system was already doing pretty well on its own, and when it became the seat of government for the League, needless to say that interest and investment only went up. And so this planet is unusually heavily developed and populated, even by the standards of an advanced and well-populated society.
If the population's in the billions, is that basically mostly human?
It would be almost exclusively human.
Okay.
Now, the League has tried to stay out of some of the other, a lot of the, shouldn't say some, almost all of the interspecies drama. And they have the benefit of being able to do that because there's League space right there. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice that the only things they directly border are other human territories. Mm-hmm. And the only uncivilized or unsettled area would be off to the west, which is where you guys were just hanging out. So even that's human colonies. Mm-hmm. So the answer is yes, it would mostly be, but that's not to say they will not maintain trade relations or whatnot with other species. So you will find other species present. But the population of the planet will be very, very wildly heavy on the human side.
Okay.
Any other general questions about Midian? Yeah, this is not a one-note world. This is not like, this is a mining colony. No, this is a world that is as diverse in what's going on as Earth would be. I mean, not literally at that point in history, but you get my meaning.
So how do we get down to the planet? Because you said our ship doesn't land.
That's right. But your ship does actually have 2 landing craft.
So do we just leave our ship in orbit? Or
Yeah.
That is correct. You can either leave your ship in orbit, or if you don't want to risk any of your assets, you can dock the ship somewhere. You'll have to, have it left there while it's getting serviced. You guys just hop a taxi or a tender down to the planet, and never even use your own ships.
It's called Spoober.
Yes. It's called Spoober.
Because that was my concern. If we just leave it in orbit, is there a chance somebody's going to board it and steal it?
Yeah, I was like,
Spiffed.
spliffed sounded weird.
There's an unusual number of spaceships going around with pink mustaches on the front.
So that was my concern, though. If we just leave it in orbit, is there a chance of somebody boarding and taking it because we're not defending it?
It's not real likely you are in a well-managed, law-enforced area. If somebody bogarts your ship, this was not a random hoodlum. If somebody takes your ship, there was something much bigger at play there.
We don't have to,
And especially with Matthias being
Matthias
on board and able to tell us anything
Correct.
that's happening.
And you do have people that would probably stay on the ship.
Oh yeah, we got our friends.
You have Alex, you have Matthias. Now, of course, leaving any of them is one fewer asset on the planet. Right. You have Matthias, you have Archimedes.
We have Kaya.
You've got Kaya and Two-Hill.
Two-Hill said he was going to his family estate, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said they could stay on the ship. I didn't say that will.
Yeah, so he will come down with us, but...
Right. Although, Kaya, it's kind of she's still
in hiding, right? Well, she's got a new face.
But she does have a new face. Yeah, I guess that's
so if she
true.
wanted to, she can come with us, but...
She'd have to have... Yeah. Did we ever get her new identity, or is that something that Two-Hill is working on?
Two-Hill is working on that,
okay, so she needs
recommends strongly against taking her down here because security is tight enough and interest in her story is high enough that the likelihood of her passing any of the...
genetic stuff.
Yeah.
Especially in relation to him.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of her passing any of the security measures down there is very minimal.
Okay.
And so you guys would have a whole new level of drama on your hands. So...
Okay, so we know she's at least staying on board.
But he is going as himself. He is simply going down as exactly who he is. Because that actually makes him more untouchable than if he was hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we want to bring... Well, Matthias will stay. I'm actually going to
Well, he can do both, can't he?
Technically.
Sort of, yeah. If you allow him to hop like that, yes.
Yeah, I think...
Or he can split temporarily and his two sides will need reconciliation later.
Gotcha.
So that way there's not an active constant communication between the ship and ground.
I said that might be the best way to do it. So we still have access to him, but
Yeah, so he could
it's
clone
not...
off some portion of his intelligence to another unit. And
Okay.
I think Archimedes would be very valuable when
Yes,
we're
to
talking
come
to
with
people.
us. Yeah. Yeah, to talk to politicians, please.
Yep.
I want somebody who can read minds. Or at
Can
least
I have
emotions.
Matthias try to send like an encrypted message to Amber Rose to get a hold of me? I don't want her to find out where we are, but I want to talk to her.
I know who you meant, but the image...
Amber Rose,
The
dang
visual
it.
image of that was hilarious.
I can't stop.
So you were actually trying to contact Amber?
Yes.
Amber Brooks?
But Amber Brooks.
Yes.
I got it right. Okay,
Yeah.
Amber Brooks. I'm trying to get a hold of her, but it needs to be extremely encrypted. I do not want her here because I'm going to check in to see.
This is I'm paging her. I'm not
So what
FaceTiming her.
What does the message say?
just that I need to get in contact with her.
You're going to get a response on that pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I don't know if...
Well, I guess we'll just wait until we're done with this then. I was just going to have Matthias work on the encryption part of it.
Oh, no. Well, that part's easy. You think
Matthias,
encryption
I guess,
is not
would be
one of his base
Yeah, right.
functions?
Yeah.
I mean, he gave up a lot. He is not... I'm really trying not to repeat Emma from the Skies of Glass game. So he is not on that level of power, but it's sort of like... given the fact that he can decide how he's going to allot his available hardware, you better believe encryption is high on his list.
Well, then I'll wait until we get back.
I can only do 5 things, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, okay. So my question is, 2 questions. One, are you guys going to land your own ships? Are you going to dock at a space station, tender from there? And then secondly, this call with Amber, she will respond pretty quickly. Do you want to have it before you leave your ship?
Probably after we get back.
So you're going to wait until you get back. Okay. Well, she has responded and basically is not just ready to talk, but actually says she's...
Eager.
Yes, and that she believes that some fruit could come from such a discussion.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're really independent, so I tend to think we would want to take our own ship down.
Yeah,
So
if
we
nothing
have
else
our
to
own
have a
ship.
way out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
All
isn't
right.
relying on a tactic.
So you guys take one of the landers. You leave your ship in a acceptable orbit, so they give you a parking point, and your ship is station held there.
Is Maris coming down with us, or is he fighting his own way down?
Maris will come down with you.
Okay.
Kaya will stay on the ship. Alex will stay on the ship. Archimedes is coming with you. Matthias is dividing. Now, what type of body do you want him to bring? It's got to be something common to your ship. He doesn't have like some giant war bag he can hop into.
But
So.
what's
No, I
something
wouldn't want
normal
that
that's
anyway.
on the planet, I guess. Like that.
Like,
you would just,
is there like a personal assistant robot?
Yeah, it's just like a
is there
general
like
labor.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah.
version?
He is a generic general labor robot. He is. If you look up robot in a dictionary, this is the picture you find.
A personal assistant robot.
We don't want to carry our own groceries.
Right,
Except
exactly.
he looks like
precisely.
Rosie
This
from
is
Jet
probably like a
Memory.
Kleenex thing in
We're
that.
planning on staying for a while. We've got luggage. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's-
Yeah, he's a robot that is so common that people misuse a brand name as a thing. It's like Kleenex or G.
yeah.
So that's fine. Okay, so weapons and equipment. What are you guys taking down, especially that goes off of scale 1?
I
What
wasn't
gun
planning.
do you give me?
Yeah.
Whatever's in the gun lockers, I don't know what we determined those were. Like simple, like
What was in the gun lockers? Well, the ones that you got. There are 2 guns I will give you almost infinite supply of. One because you salvaged a bunch. The other one because they're just that common. The one that's that common is the Solar Defender, which is, I think it's like 38 special. It's not a gun, it's a class of guns. They're laser pistols that are used primarily by humanity. They're produced in huge quantity under tons of brand names. It's basically a level the playing field between you and a 12-foot tall alien sort of gun. Or at least to remind them that humans have bite. The second gun that I will give you effectively within reason as many as you want would be the auto guns you got from the ambush on the space station. Because you looted like half a dozen of those.
Yeah, I'll go with Solar Defender. Mostly because I have the stats over here.
Yeah, and it's a very, very inconspicuous gun.
can I get away with my plasma rifle?
I mean, look, you're here as a guest to some people. Are they going to have you arrested? No. Will they let you carry it around? Probably also not.
Can my robot carry that?
In fact, Julie, are you aware that, if I'm not mistaken,
We could do the
your rifle
R2D2
is the
thing.
exact same product line that was just used in the assassination?
That's true.
Can we like
So
do the
maybe coming here
R2D2
with a
thing?
rifle called the Oswald is not...
Can we like put it in the robot?
I'll just remove its leg and make it its leg. Like,
So just nobody notices that it's just limping around on a rifle, like some kind of terrorist Robert Rodriguez movie or something.
what was that called? I forgot.
I don't even remember. Yeah, or she has an M16
Yeah,
or
it's a
something
leg.
as her leg or an M4.
Oh, that was like
whatever.
Rose
other-
McGowan.
It wasn't. It was the other Grindhouse one. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's not
It wasn't
yeah.
Death Proof. It was the other
I
one.
always forget the name
I
of
don't
it.
remember.
Okay, I'll leave that one behind and take one of the lessers, I guess.
Take one of the lessers.
And that is her whole attitude the entire time she's carrying
Like, I'm
it.
super pissed off that I'm having to carry around this shitty, like,
Okay.
crap gun.
I wrote down handgun, 2d8. What is it?
Oh, yeah, I
just
should
a-
probably write
It
that.
should have a scale circled. To the right of it are a bunch of numbers.
Okay.
They indicate its level of technology. What scale is it?
I didn't put anything.
Yeah, I don't think you gave us any stats for those smaller guns. Or at least not.
Okay. I think they were scale 1.
Okay.
So the Solar, at least from the other character sheet, Solar Defender was 2d6, 1d10 ammo, scale 1, 2 shots per round, plus 1 regen.
Yes.
Are the
that's-
notes that I have written down?
That sounds correct,
That's
yes.
what I got.
I see it. It's like, okay, thank you so much.
I think the auto gun does do slightly higher damage.
And does our like regular suits have any sort of armor to them?
No, they can be purchased.
Okay.
If at some point buying a variety of armor for your group is a priority, I mean, you've got, I don't know if you have any coins in the bank, but,
We don't. We spent them
No.
all on the ship.
oh, well.
That was part of why we were like, yay, maybe we take a job and actually make a profit.
But yeah, you guys say, if you want to do something like radically re-outfit your ship's armory, because you guys could pretty easily get a security license, which would at least get you up to scale 2, possibly 3, depending on where you're at.
I'm going to do that. That's my next
I
project.
say you just need someone to basically agree you are bonded for their security.
Can't we just have two?
I mean, or could we do it through Thango?
To
Maybe.
Thangil might be willing to do it. They don't like to encourage things like that because they don't want their name associated
That's
with
fair.
it. They try to launder all their operations. Now, could
Gotcha.
He'll do it? Yes, and he promised he would do a favor for a favor if you
But
guys...
that's a small favor. Rather use a big favor on him.
I mean, fair enough. You could probably convince someone else to bond you as security. If I look through your contacts, I might find somebody who's got that kind of reach.
Yeah, I mean,
Or maybe if we bring this guy back to life, his family might
his
do
family
it for
might
us.
do it
Yeah.
for
Fair
us.
enough. All right. So
Be our non-monetary.
Yeah, because they're not the
favor.
ones paying us.
So-
not that we're sharing that information with anybody.
you've got two landing craft that are effectively identical. There's a pair of seats up front for piloting the ship. The ship can also fly itself, requiring only modest instruction. Does not have an FTL drive. The primary cabin of the ship is you've got about a dozen seats, 6 per side up front, and then that gives way to a small, very small, like what we'll call a living closet, where if someone had to go to the bathroom, get medical treatment, it would work for that. And then there's a relatively modest cargo bay. So this is not some huge ship by any stretch of the imagination. I think if we were to compare this size-wise to other science fiction, it's bigger than a Star Trek shuttle, but this is not like landing the Normandy.
Okay.
All right, so you guys take that down to the planet. Maris is now, or Two-Hill, if you prefer to call him that, is now dressed to the absolute nines. You don't even have any idea what the value of the suit he's wearing is. And he rides along with you, making kind of general small talk the whole way down. And where you guys land is, and where you're directed to land, first by system control, then by planetary control, and then ultimately by the head of the household for the place you're going to. Listen, as I said last time, kind of picture something similar to Altered Carbon in that this is a skyscraper that effectively belongs to one family and the things that one family does. So they might have businesses or political offices or who knows what within this building, but at the very top is where they live. And so you guys are right. You land on a landing pad that's to the side of a 2 or 3 story tall tower that crests this building. And you're up high enough that the wind picks up a bit. There are some wind guards around the landing area, but the wind is still picking up a bit. It's fairly cold. It's raining ever so lightly. It's not the most pleasant weather. And standing on this waiting for you are a pair of uniformed guards. They don't look like military types. Think personal security, crisp uniforms and a sidearm and a radio. These guys are not like some kind of ninja strike force. And an individual who is also dressed in quite a bit of finery waiting by the landing pad. And they approach from inside that tower as you guys make contact and land.
Yeah. As we kind of come out, I'm a little bit paranoid. So I'm looking at the buildings that are around us and I'm looking for snipers.
Oh boy. Okay. Wayne, do you have any skill that would help you with that?
Because I've been shot before.
Oh,
The attribute is going to be awareness.
Okay. I don't think I have anything that's particularly useful for it. I've got range combat wouldn't be culture, solar, Coraster, computing data forensics, gunnery, starships, Ovid. So
No.
none of that's really. So
Okay.
You just look scared.
So give me an awareness check, and you may push your luck if you wish.
You start swatting at bees.
I say you're just like wide-eyed neck craning, like
one.
He starts running in zigzags.
serpentine.
Yeah. Wayne suddenly sees something and ducks as the first of the invasive starlings flies over his head, and everyone's a little perplexed. And but the gentleman in front of you, once again, who's quite very well dressed, he has a brief conversation with Senator Maris, and one of the guards leads him into the building. You overheard it. It was basically they exchanged pleasantries, and he is being taken to a waiting vehicle down below.
Yeah, I think with a roll of 1, I'm being super obvious that I'm looking all around at the windows. And
So, I'll tell you what it is you can see, because you'd have to fail in a way I wouldn't even allow to not see it. You don't see, I mean, it's an area where if you wanted to, you could set up some pretty good shots. There are a fair number of other skyscrapers and high roofs near here. The difficulty with that is the higher you go up in most of these buildings, the higher class it becomes, the more difficult it would be to even get there in the first place, much less get there and leave no record, which is probably why the assassin opted instead that was a much harder shot to attempt the shot from the ground. And had he been any worse of a sniper, probably would not have made the shot at all.
Okay.
The fact that this guy hit, even though he failed to kill his target completely, the fact that he hit it all, from looking at the surrounding area, is a bit of a wonder.
Is this where he was shot? Was on this?
No, he was shot inside. Okay. Now, you are able to, from here also, to see the lake and the fairly nice lawn that surrounds another building not that far from here.
And there's a Roomba there?
And no, this would be the where...
It would be a beautiful park.
Exactly. that is Abernath, or Two Hills, Abernath Maris's house.
As we watch Maris's taxi go that way.
Yep, is Maris's
town car, I should say.
Yeah, once he's out of sight, I actually say that would be a beautiful park.
The
so beautiful.
The guy in front of you says, "It's my pleasure to welcome you to Midian. I have been asked to provide for whatever it is you should need while you are here. I am the head of house, Lionel Terovich."
Can you spell that?
Yes. First name Lionel, Lionel. Mm-hmm. Last name P-T, Erovich.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we would probably like to see where we're going to be staying first, and then see about meeting
The family?
the family.
Of course. Allow me to show you to your quarters then, and I will give you some time to freshen up, and we'll send someone to get you for dinner with the family shortly.
Thank you.
How long do you require?
We all just look around at each other like...
Not long at all.
An hour.
An hour. Oh, very well. Follow me. He takes you inside of that tower. And once you're inside that tower, it appears to mostly be observation rooms and a guard post. You're guessing the primary reason this tower is here is not only to provide security and order to the roof, but also it's not terribly heavily occupied in case someone botches a landing and takes the top off the building. So from there, you guys are taken to a lift, which goes down not very far, but it does go down a few levels. Looking out the windows, you are still quite high up. The inside of this building, very heavy construction. Some kind of a white poured material, looks similar to something like marble or granite, though it is neither. The windows are set back, and they have buttress topped and arches that come alongside either part of their recess. Finely decorated. You guys, at least most of you, are educated enough to recognize some of the alien artifacts that are sitting around this place. Some of these would be highly personal to individuals. Others might be of great monetary value. But all of them share one thing, which is they're rare and almost certainly authentic, and maybe shouldn't be here. But that's the reality.
But they're displayed nicely.
Yeah, precisely. They're displayed very nicely for people to appreciate.
Yes.
Like all 12 of them. But they take you down a side hallway. I swear, my politics are sounding all weird this game. But I'm kind of agitated right now, so I'm making all these anti-establishment comments. But anyway, all right, that's not what this is about. So you guys are led down a side hallway, and off of this are a bunch of guest rooms. The guest rooms are very spacious, very well appointed. Each of you is in your own, unless you are choosing to share rooms for whatever reason. But think, for example, none of the rooms are even identical. Each of them is decorated with a different theme. Each of them is decorated possibly by a different artist. That is not an uncommon practice here. So there may have been an individual decorator or consultant that was used for each room. And I'll let you guys describe your rooms however you want, because pretty much anything you can imagine, it is plausible they both have the means and would decide to do.
So I send a message right away to Emmett once I'm in my room. Emmett,
Yes.
the paintings in here have boobs.
Could you describe the boobs?
I'll send you a picture.
Or a vid.
They are, it's ornate paintings of very tasteful nudes, but there's boobs.
Those are what we call tasty nudes.
Yeah.
Tasty nudes.
As
Don't like
opposed to
it.
toasty nudes. Those are different.
Those are two different things.
Cinnamon
something that's
toast
very
nudes is the
floral.
third thing.
Yours is very floral.
Mine's very floral.
Mine's very modern.
Modern to the time, or modern as in
Like current. Like very techy.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant modern to the game or modern as in the moment in art history called the modern movement.
Mine has lots of DeLoreans in it. DeLorean pictures. The
History of
doors.
cinema.
Yeah, the
History
doors
of-
open up like the
You know,
gull
okay,
wings.
the artist that did, there's a plaque in here explaining the artist that did your room. And the artist that did your room is a huge fan of cinema history, going back as far as the first animated captured images. And this room is, this individual never decorates inspired by the same movie twice. And you happen to get the
Back to the Future
DeLoreans.
trilogy.
yeah.
and the hoverboards.
Yeah.
You even have the train.
Oh, we got to have the train.
Right, yeah. I mean, hell, the bed that you sleep in,
Yeah.
It's a train.
it's like one of those race car beds, except it's a DeLorean.
Nice.
You get acoustic ACDC over the.
Yes.
Or not AC/DC, sorry, ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
Big 3D holographic shark that doesn't look realistic at all.
Yeah. It
Still looks fake.
Yeah.
Still looks fake.
Isn't it weird how Back to the Future 2 simultaneously looks with really high tech and really low tech?
Yeah.
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 Like, we have far better deep fakes of Ronald Reagan than Max Headroom. Anyway. So, you guys are taken to those rooms. Anything of note I need to do that you're doing over the next hour?
I'm taking an awesome shower in an awesome bathroom because normally we have our little tiny ship bathrooms.
I'm going to send a message to Sky and ask if Amber Brooks ever got back to you.
You're not going to get anything back from me.
It gets left on red. You get left on red.
Okay.
Yeah,
Before I leave, I ping you and say that, yeah, but I'm not going to talk to her here.
Okay.
I'm just taking in the whole room as like, are there drawers? What's in the drawers? Do they put anything in this drawer? Do they put anything in this
It's
closet?
an ancient Bible.
Yeah. A Space Gideon's Bible, a Spidian's Bible.
A Spidian.
Are there extra towels? He's just basically
Wait.
he's not taking
Are you
them.
cleaning it out, or
No, he's not taking any of it. He's just like,
ooh, free shower curtain, ooh, free thermostat?
Sure,
no,
it's like a take-em.
no. It's more like
This room is
If
just
they're
going
not
to be bare.
frescoes, they're coming with me.
It's gonna look. Yeah, it's gonna look at that
it's more
episode
like
of
on the
Fresh Prince
ship
where they
we've got
Rob.
like I've got like one towel that's my towel that I have to wash every time I use it because we haven't bought more towels.
Oh,
So it does like
that's right.
Wow.
We covered this in the last game. You're completely ineffective and inefficient shopping.
Yes.
Yeah. Note to self: with our money we make from this, we're going to buy more towels.
Well, actually, what you need to do is
Just send somebody else to shop.
Somebody else to
is
shop the
hire
towels.
is subcontract another set of operators to convince Cecilia to sell what it is you guys need in the quantity you need it. So he will still buy because he's only got one store he shops at.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. Basically, it's
He's
a,
basically got a
everything is
Harvest
opulent.
Moon
So
romance.
yeah, everything is opulent. So it's like he's looking
With
at.
slightly less
There's so
produce.
many of everything, all this extra stuff.
I'm going to take a shower too, but like, it'll be a nice shower, but it won't be like hour-long girl shower. It will be just a enjoy shower and then get dressed.
Yeah, mine's like a 45-minute or girl shower.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get dressed. And
The water pressure is so good. It's not even spurting out half the time.
The mirror isn't fogging up, and I don't know how they did that.
that's when you know you're in a good hotel.
Yeah.
You've never had to ask if any of these are load-bearing toilets.
I can take a shower and flush the toilet at the same time.
In in the same place.
I'm like knocking on the shower wall to see if my sister can hear me. Clearly, your ship is. It's true.
Nobody
It's
thinks
a fast ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
it is.
not
It is. It actually has an effectively
Mostly working.
experimental
It
drive.
just,
Yep.
but it's just
Yeah.
it lacks a lot.
I mean,
It's not built for comfort, okay?
Yeah.
It's built for
We're
speed.
very aware.
Do you have a cup holder in a NASCAR car?
yeah, literally,
you don't.
systems and general automation were what he picked as the lowest priorities on the ship. I mean, seriously, your ship is a really fast Section 8.
Damn.
All right, so, which actually just gave me an idea for the name of your ship, but I'm not going to repeat it. So after about an hour, there is a knock on your doors, and standing outside of each of your doors, they sent for each of you, not one servant to gather you all, but rather two each individually to your rooms. So, well, I'd say that that's 8, but except you have some NPCs with you, not Matthias, because he's undercover. But I guess actually you only have one with you, which is
Archimedes.
Archimedes, yeah, because you left everyone else either on the ship or the senator is actually going back to his own offices. The only exception to this is Wade outside of your room. When you open the door, there are two servants standing there. One that has an outfit for you. One that simply has his hands folded. You don't know exactly what his role is. And they have sort of been pushed aside by a man you have never seen before. But this guy strikes one hell of a cutting presence. His features are quite well defined. His eyes are an absolutely piercing gaze to them that, I mean, it's almost cold to look at this guy. And he's also standing probably a good 4 to 6 inches taller than he should be because he is wearing a brilliant snow white suit of military-grade powered armor. And on his back, over the powered armor, is an emerald green cape or cloak that is over the armor. Now, you don't, even if you don't recognize the man, you recognize the garb as this is the outfit that is worn by the kind of central high guard of the Chorister military. So this is somewhere between the elite of the elite and yet also an honor guard. So this, like I said, even if you don't recognize the man, you would recognize the uniform.
You said he's pushed the servants aside?
By virtue of powered armor walking in
More
their direction.
displaced them.
Yeah, he didn't violently Donkey Kong them over. Yeah, he didn't pick them up and barrel chuck them, but I mean, he simply has inserted himself into the situation.
To what do I owe the honor?
I'm flattered you see it as an honor.
Not everybody gets approached by the High Guard.
I assure you, this isn't that kind of business. Major Cantrell, he extends a armored hand to you.
Does he know he's making?
Wade Harris.
Wade, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Same here.
Do you want to get dressed first, and then I thought I should introduce myself since I'm going to be responsible for both liaising between this investigation and that's going on locally. And also because since there is a contentious nature to any shift in power, we as a neutral party have been asked to provide your protection while you are here.
I am glad to see you, because that is something we're concerned about. Yes, let me get changed first.
Okay.
Do we all have clothes?
Yes.
Okay.
So individually at your rooms, the servants they send two, one that is bearing an outfit for you, and then one that is there to help
Assist with your
Yes.
Yes.
It's basically
There are
someone
footmen.
if you go to splash some water on your face, before you can look up from the sink, they're holding the towel to dry your hands. So that sort of thing. But the one that actually brought the outfit, as they put them on, these people either have a really good eye for it or themselves may be some level of tailor seamstress, something to that effect, because they seem to know quite a bit about exactly how it fits you. And as they're putting it on, they're explaining the style that you've got, the history of the outfit. Apparently the stuff you guys are wearing is not just high-end. It all has stories behind it. And while they could be
somebody
making
else's clothes.
Yep. And while, like, I mean, it's stuff
they've been
like
tailored
the
to
dress
you?
you're going to be wearing tonight was worn by the Duchess so-and-so when
a
the
dress?
Accord of such and such was signed, or whatever.
I couldn't get like a nice pantsuit.
No, if at any point you say, you give even the slightest hint it's not your liking, the one that brought in the outfit simply taps a communicator on their chest, and moments later, a cart is brought in with other outfits to choose from in a variety of styles.
I'm going to choose a pantsuit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I tie my tie and it is adequate, and then he reties it as
Like you
Not-
you
you're
try
much
to
better
tie
than
it, it's
adequate.
fine, but now it's like a fancy Windsor knot, and
Yeah.
Okay, so you try to tie your tie, and then the tailor's like, excuse me, sir, but I don't think they've changed the fabric. And so he makes some BS excuse up for you, and then fixes your tie.
exactly.
About how, this tie works differently than the ones you would normally see because of a weird change. And that's all, damn well it's BS,
Yep.
but it's his job to not make people feel bad. So you guys get ready for dinner, at which point, upon going back into the hallway, now standing at the entrance to the hallway, so you all now see Major Cantrell is standing there. Once again, he is wearing full-blown military gear, apart from he does not currently have the helmet on. But otherwise, I mean, this is full, hardcore, top-of-the-line grade military equipment. If I was to put it on the tech scale, it would be probably scale 4, which even most of Coraster doesn't use. So, anyways, but as you are coming out of your rooms, and he waits there for you as the servants politely excuse themselves, and one of them stops to lead you to the dining room, at which point the Major says, "It's all right, I'll take it from here." And he starts walking you down a labyrinth of hallways and galleries, and you think you even walk through a couple of dining rooms before you arrive where you're supposed to be going.
Has Archimedes changed?
No.
That's what I assumed, but I wanted to.
She is still wearing the same relatively austere robe she always does. But for them, do you have asticulture?
I do.
Okay,
yeah, I was thought-
that is a culturally significant form of dress.
Okay.
That is now usually they're wearing another layer under that, so she's not just walking around commando in robes and hoping that will go well when the shooting starts. But they tend to wear a very loose robe over it as a sign of mixed shame and mourning over the fact that they are a people without a place because they are a manufactured species. And so it's sort of that constant mourning penance. It's more of a philosophical thing. It's not religious, but it is a culturally pervasive ideology. So to demand that an Asta remove that would be a huge cultural faux pas. And you're guessing these people are
Knew that.
and probably have an ASTA cultural specialist on staff for that one ASTA guest that really matters.
Yeah.
Because they're about to sign a treaty or something.
Right.
All right. So you guys are eventually do stop at the dining room you're meant to go to, which is a beautiful open room. You are on a balcony that's about story and a half up over the main floor. The main floor is a dance room. The ceiling almost looks like a cathedral ceiling. Windows along the walls that are very reminiscent of the windows that you saw in the hallway, and that they have buttressed tops, they have archways flanking them, they are recessed a bit, but these in several places have fine work into the stained glass, or in the form of stained glass. And not all the windows have it. And even the windows that do, it doesn't take up the whole window.
Emmett, is that a ballroom? They're not going to expect us to dance, are they?
Not with my 2 left feet.
The major says no, I would hope not. We'll actually be eating up here. Though I said balcony, I meant it was a big balcony over a really big room. But down in that balcony, as you enter, you hear orchestral music. And if you walk toward the railing that looks over into the ballroom...
Oh, I definitely do.
there is a 12-piece orchestra down there that is actually playing for you. And they take you to the major leads you towards a table where they're finishing up the place settings and whatnot.
All 14 pieces of silverware.
Yep. And every seat, you have at least one servant that does nothing more than simply pull out the seat and push it in for you. That's on top of the ones that are checking your water, your food, whatever. Not that the meal has started yet. But after a few moments, a woman enters the room, black hair, olive skin. She has following behind her three offspring, an adult male, and 2 very, very similar looking 21-year-old young ladies. And you've never, well, I guess you've probably seen, at least from news shots or something, you've seen what the senator looks like. But yeah, they definitely, family resemblances there. These are definitely his and her kids, even without doing any genetics on them. And
Unless he has a twin brother.
Ooh,
I'm assuming,
Or an illegal clone.
this is like Days of Our Lives.
yeah, that or was it The Prestige?
Prestige.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are. The family comes in and sits. The seat at the head of the table is set, but is left empty. For anyone that has any cultural knowledge, you would know it's just a way of
Honoring.
honoring or remembering, or possibly in this case, not coming to terms with one of those. But
Well, I mean, we can bring them back, so maybe they're like, maybe
That-
I say it could be hope, but it's...
yeah, precisely. It's leaving a light on because you think someone will come back, or maybe to remind you they're not coming back, but to kind of hang on to something. But anyway, that's what's... So, as they sit you down and they set out the napkins in your laps and whatever, the Alicia finally speaks up and says, I hope that you found your trip here to be comfortable, pleasant. Have the staff been taking good care of you? At least adequate.
Very good.
Glad to hear it.
I am truly sorry for everything you are going through right now. I understand these must be very difficult times.
We struggle a lot. It's not always easy living in this life. And to lose my husband, their father, my beloved, it is difficult. Especially to know that whoever is responsible for this is still out there.
Can I see if, like, is she emotional in some way when she said that, or is it kind of rehearsed?
Okay, give me social. Plus, do you have any, like, culture skills or...
No.
Okay. Just go ahead and roll aware, just social. I'm going to go ahead and still give you some bonus to this, because even if you don't have the skill, being human,
You've got an
Social's
extra...
2 dice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you get 2d6.
You have a human modifier on that.
okay. So 2 plus... I got an 8.
You got an 8. Not good enough to quite read. You definitely get the sense that being a woman of high and highly repressed culture, you are not exactly seeing her most honest response. But that could just be because she's hoity-toity, and it's impolite to break down in company. not because she's some kind of like cold-hearted killer. So you don't necessarily get that sense. There's definitely something artificial about this.
I've been in enough of these types of conversations that I don't try to read at all. I look to Archimedes and just... I think by now we've probably got something set up of just like a nod or a gesture where that she could tell me if somebody is lying, if she thinks they're lying.
One of the things about Archimedes, well, there's a lot of things about her that's hard to read, partially because she has a relatively plain and not terribly feature-rich face, which is typical of the Asta. She doesn't show a lot of facial expression just because her face is not quite built that way. But also because of the fact that you can't even look to her doing a lot of like ticks or gives.
Right.
Because first of all, Asta generally don't have those. They're much more subdued physically and mentally.
And that's why we work something out.
And also because of her intellect, she doesn't have to take notes on what she's observing. She's just committing all of this to memory. Because the Asta are slightly more intelligent than humans, and she is of the highest intelligence branch of the Asta species. But yes, if you have something worked out in advance.
I hope it's accidentally extremely obvious because she doesn't know how to do it. She's just like...
I don't know that she could do accidentally extremely obvious because she would keep it as small and quiet as
true.
like just because of who she is. I would
Be like
think.
a fart or something.
Wayne, the only thing you pick up from her is that at one point she looks toward the lower level where the orchestra is, and then turns back toward the table, and for a split second locks eyes with one of the twins, who herself had just been looking that direction. Now, you don't know what the heck this means, but you observe that occur.
Okay. I must say, you do have a beautiful home, and musicians are wonderful. Are they local that you bring in? I assume you have the highest security, so I'm assuming they have to all be background checked to even be allowed in the front door.
Well, of course. And I assure you that I can actually account for the location of all of them at that time. And I don't believe, at least directly, any of them were involved.
Yes. And I want to apologize in advance because we will have a lot of questions, and I know this is a difficult time, and it's the worst time for you to have to be answering questions. And if we offend in any way, please just let us know. We want to be thorough with this investigation because we want our results to be indisputable.
Your discretion and thoroughness are both appreciated in this matter. Your thoroughness will put me at peace, and your discretion will keep me at peace. If there's anything that you need, then feel free to simply tell anyone that works here what you need to see. If they give you any difficulty, then ask for me, and I will personally see to it that you are given access to what you need.
Thank you.
I've already passed word along to the acting head of the household, which, to explain that title, does not mean head of the household in the way we use it today of, like, tax purposes or whatever.
Right.
Head of the household, this would be basically the chief servant.
I would say it's the head butler.
Yeah, it's the head butler.
Yeah.
This would be per Alfred or whatever. I have already told Mr. Terovich to see to it that your requests are all met in a timely and unobstructed manner.
My associate, Miss Vogt.
I say you have to like look at one of us when you do that.
Yeah, I do. I actually motion. Mm-hmm. She is our medical expert. And so she will need to talk to whoever has examined.
Yes, I would preferably examine myself, but...
I would prefer that as well.
Yes.
When would you like to begin that work?
As soon as possible, after dinner, possibly.
Very well. Well, let's enjoy dinner, and I would like to allow you some time to refresh, and then I will take you immediately to go see him.
Thank you.
And he basically just tries to... He might try to make small talk, but essentially just trying to keep them at ease.
Yeah.
Because they are... He knows that they're in a state of mourning, but also not mourning yet. The limbo could potentially be worse than mourning. Mm-hmm. So he's just trying to keep things light for now.
Okay.
And I think you're the one making the most effort, because I'm sitting over here with very few social skills going, I have very few social skills, so I'm going to keep quiet until it's relevant to me.
I tend to avoid talking to her and talking to the kids because I probably am not hoity-toity enough for her, but the kids are probably more on board with my style of me.
So you're trying to talk to the twins?
Just small talk. I'm probably not going to talk shop with them.
Okay.
Not without permission. You know, like, it's just...
You're basically talking to minors.
Yeah.
In a way.
In a way.
So, yeah, I guess by current reckoning, maybe?
Yeah. It would be smarter to do that on a more, like, formal basis. So this is just more just like, I'm avoiding talking to the hoity-toity because it makes me uncomfortable.
So, all right, so you make small talk with one of the twins, which you find out is Cynthia, who's older by some matter of seconds. But apparently to twins that matters. Because I've never met a pair of twins yet. They cannot tell me.
They always know.
And, yeah, I was first by and then usually even have the gap.
Actual number, yeah.
So, anyways, I guess you have to get down that far to distinguish your birthday. But anyway, you were talking to Cynthia, and in the course of that small talk, she says she has a question for you about what it's like being outside of this place, but she wants to ask you after dinner.
Sure. I'd say suspiciously.
Sure.
I think I'm going to sneak a kid out is what I think.
We should experiment with the boomerang and put it on her.
Just hang her out.
Drag her around, give her a few laps around the planet, just see how she does. Come back with a safety rating. All right, so dinner ends. You guys have a palate cleanser and then on to dessert and then...
port.
Yeah.
Some sort of aperitif.
And dinner is a whole lot longer than you're used to it being. There's a lot more...
It's not non-dehydrated food.
Yeah, precisely. And this is served in small amounts, but constantly. So it's like, who knows how many courses. Each is relatively small, each is relatively short. You hate any one of them, give it about 5 minutes. There'll be something different in front of you. And when the meal is over, the servants begin cleaning up. The family excuses themselves, and Alicia says, if you will give me a moment to change into something a bit more functional, I will be back up to escort you to the medical bay.
Same.
Yes, that.
Okay, so as she stands up to leave, her son Bartholomew and Valentina follow her. Cynthia stands up behind Valentina and sort of kind of makes a step or two in that direction,
and then follows me,
and then turns and ducks off toward you.
Great. She's gonna watch me get dressed.
Okay. Well, where do you? I mean, do you stop right there? Do you go all the way back to your room?
I mean, if I see that she's coming towards me, I'll pause and see if she wants to discuss it here or not.
Okay. So she looks around kind of nervously. She's waiting to see who's there, who's leaving. Now, okay, obviously
you're the same one that, well.
Obviously you're staying there. Are you guys going back to your room, staying there?
I'm going back to my room to put on pants.
Okay, fair enough.
You're jealous that I found a pantsuit.
No, I don't mind wearing, as long as it's not a pencil skirt, I'm fine. True. But I want to go do work. I want to be wearing more work clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I didn't think of it until you mention it, and then I go do the same.
That's what I was gonna do, but now I gotta wait.
Putting on my regular clothes.
Okay. She says, Can I ask you a question? I know this is probably real common knowledge to you, but it's not to me.
Okay.
The bug eye, can it actually read minds, or does it just hear really well?
Oh. Not something you should call Archimedes.
Did she hear that?
No. I mean, did she?
If she is, she's not here.
Say that, and you start looking around. She's sneaky.
You're looking around to see if she's
Yeah.
here.
And she asked if she can. I'm sorry, I was taken aback by Pug Eye. I'm like, oh my god, we're like throwing racist terms out. Can she hear your thoughts? Is that what you're asking?
I guess. Like, how does their thing work?
I think it's more intuition based. Right?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
intuition based.
basically
Yeah,
correct.
it's more intuition based versus reading your thoughts. They can just feel that there's something going on versus actually knowing exactly what's going on. They can make a lot of like assumptions based on the intuition they find. And they're usually right.
I guess that's why Dad never wanted us around them.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I just assumed it's because they could, like, read minds or something. And
No, you should go have a conversation with her.
Oh, boy. She says,
Color bug eye too.
really? Like, how do you like even start that conversation?
Just talk to him like a normal person.
So, like, what's it like to be, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't point and gesture. I mean, I would just have like a candid conversation. Like, you don't need to ask her about her.
Okay.
I mean, I think she'd be welcome to it, especially if you want to talk to her about something based on intelligence. She's very smart. She likes to talk. I assume she is a girl, right? Didn't we determine?
Yeah, Archimedes.
Yes.
Archimedes is female. I was the biological distinction between male and female Asta. It's the true Asta, the middle road Asta. You can tell, but it's kind of at a glance, maybe not. Especially the robes don't help.
Mm-hmm.
But once you hit the children of Asta, which is what Archimedes
obvious.
is. Oh no,
No, it's the opposite.
No, it's the opposite.
It's like glad ants can tell because I can't, and it's that sort of
okay,
thing. Of,
okay.
Yeah, their biology is so understated and so androgynous that there is a difference, but
A biological one, but not a physical.
not much. I mean, it's very, very hard to tell, but you would know that Archimedes is female. So.
Okay. But you could just talk to her so that you can understand that they're not scary.
Yeah, but if she knows what I'm thinking, I don't know what she's thinking, then...
She doesn't know what you're thinking. She knows the intuition, based off of intuition. She can't read your mind.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll try to talk to her later.
Do it.
Can you let someone know when she's done working for the night? Because I really don't want to get in the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
She, like, pauses for a minute and, like, kind of, like, starts to curtsy, then starts to try and shake your hand, then starts to curtsy, then eventually just kind of gives a half bow and leaves the room.
So where did Archimedes go since she doesn't need to change?
Yeah.
She did go back to her room.
Okay, because after I change, I want to drop by before going back down.
Okay.
And just touch base.
Okay, so you stop by Archimedes' room, you knock on the door, and she just calls out, "Come in."
Hey,
Her room is very Victorian looking, lots of woodwork, dark, like burgundies and
Dark wood paneling.
dark wood paneling, yeah. And she's got a
Arsenic
four-poster
green
bed
wallpaper.
that right now she's just sitting under the canopy of that four-poster bed in what just was probably some form of mental focus or meditation.
what do you think of all of this? This excess, opulence.
She opens her eyes and she's like, "What do I think of it? Intellectually or emotionally?"
Both.
Intellectually, I would say it is a terrible waste of resources.
That is my thought as well.
I understand wanting to live well, but this is just honestly a bit stupid.
And how do you possibly defend yourself with so many people coming in and out of the building that could easily be replaced?
Well, I don't know, but they must have something of it down to a science if the shooter felt the need to shoot from outside.
True. Just, It's overwhelmingly excess to me. Just too much. Too much waste.
This bothers you, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, we're up there scrounging for resources, and they have a whole orchestra playing down there.
She contemplates that for a moment and says, it's not that I disagree with you, it's that,
You don't have the same emotion that I have.
I hear people say this to each other, Solar say this to each other, meaning it to be cruel. I don't mean it to be cruel, it is a naked statement of fact. It's hard for me to care.
I like that.
So, what were you detecting with the twin and the orchestra?
Was that Cynthia who did that?
No, it was
Oh,
the
it
other
was
one,
the other one.
Valentina. The same thing that I'm guessing you noticed. There was something about the direction of the orchestra that had her attention, and I felt very negative emotions from her. I don't know what it was that direction, but something she saw over that way made her feel a great deal of regret. I can't imagine it's the orchestra itself. I doubt she's having a social crisis, maybe. But it's not what it felt like. It felt very personal, closer to guilt.
Maybe she knows somebody in the orchestra.
Perhaps she does.
Durette's boyfriend.
At that age, your species has many indiscretions.
Yes.
And forbidden is adds to the excitement.
And I'm sure her mother would not be happy if she was with somebody in the orchestra. Well, I guess it's time to go look at a body.
Yes, I suppose it is. She gets up and follows behind you. Okay, you guys meet back up in the hallway. You guys are led by, this time, the head of the household, who walks you to one of the lifts, takes you down a couple of levels, walks you... This is a much more industrial-looking level of the building. Not totally industrial. This place is not without its charm. It's certainly well clean, but it's also... it's definitely more made for work than for...
More functional than fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on this level is a medical research facility and also a small hospital. And let me say small, okay? If it was not for the level of technology available, this would be a minor clinic. So it's only a handful of beds, but it's a handful of beds that have all the assets you could possibly want with them.
Do they seem, and this is more of like a setting question, like they have more than other politicians, or is this how they all are?
You want to hear the really strange fact? They're actually one of the poorer ones.
Oh. Okay, so this is like not uncommon for
Oh,
them.
no.
Okay.
No.
I just didn't know if they were, like, I know like rich are rich, but I didn't know if they were just like more hoity-toity than others.
Yeah. Well, look, here's my cynical take on things. Let me stress I'm kind of agitated at life right now. So if you guys are at home, well, those of you at home, please do not read into this as my politics or social views. I'm agitated right now. But generally speaking, who are the rich trying to impress?
The other rich.
Exactly, each other.
Or the more rich.
Exactly.
The richer.
It's a status inquiry that on the outside you don't even really care about much. Let's even catch the nuance.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't identify.
This person has marble floors, and this person has some
I can't take
exotic
one
thing.
glance at somebody's watch and tell you what income bracket they're in.
Yeah. Well, and we've heard all about this opulence, but I think this is probably the first time seeing it in
Potentially,
person.
Yeah.
And so it's
we probably have seen some.
You might have. It's
Because of
my
council.
first time seeing it.
We probably potentially had, maybe not this crazy, but
Oh no, the forum's not nearly.
not
as
nearly,
crazy.
but we at least understand some amount of formality.
Yeah, the
here.
forum was paradisical because of the fact that everything was more or less provided for you and manicured for your benefit. It also did have a certain degree of formality to it because there is a pseudo-religion that surrounds what was originally the three powers of that planet. Only one of the three powers survived. But, this isn't totally foreign to you, But it used to be, these are the kinds of things that you would find in a public space that would be someone, a combination of expression and consumption that's not a business arrangement, that it's
And not specifically a display of personal power.
correct. That, like, you've probably been to dinners like this, but it wasn't because, but it was because an orchestra wanted to perform and somebody wanted to cook.
It was like
and
a charity or
yeah, or who knows what. It was a very, you guys were provided for and pampered, but it was not by the labor of other humans.
Got it.
This is what Watcher, Governor, and Defender did for you.
Okay.
And of those, only Watcher survived.
Okay. Makes sense.
But yeah, so this, you've never seen this as one person's thing before.
And not at the expense of others.
No.
Right.
And this is unusual at really a state level, by which I mean that even the ultra wealthy within the other human states, they really find this to be pointlessly excessive.
Okay.
I mean, sure, you're going to find that one narcissistic bastard, but I mean, are the people out there who have resources going to use them? Of course. But are they going to use them this lavishly?
Are they going to construct their own personal, like,
planets? I mean,
culture
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
like, this reflective, like, trying to one-upmanship, like,
yeah, precisely. And the family, you're guessing, are probably seen largely as assets and indulgences, and as such are kept well protected in a gilded cage. And somehow they got to Daddy, and this has now changed everything.
Okay.
But yeah, this level of decadence, opulence, just absolute excess, this is not simply unique to a particular class of wealth. This is also culturally unique to where you are.
Okay.
Like I said, people equally or more wealthy in other empires would find this usually pointless.
Can I make, like, just as an assessment of, like, the whole time we've been here, kind of an overall view of things, can I make, get a sense of not necessarily the family, but literally everybody else? And there's going to be that mask of good servant, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But is there an air of nervousness, uncertainty, tension at all?
Okay. Give me either social or awareness, plus do you have any solar culture?
I have culture.
That's good. That'll work. As long as there's not an adjective that negates culture below it, like Cyrany culture.
No, I have Asta culture, but I have culture Asta.
Culture, okay, but culture
But
comes
culture's
first.
above, yes.
So if culture comes first, then that's the one you get to roll. So yeah.
Right.
The Asta would be a specialization. Exactly. But I'll give you a choice between social and awareness.
No, they're the same, except I have an extra humor.
Well, there you go. That's the difference. And as always, you can push your luck if you want.
I forgot about that. I'll say I won't. We'll just roll and see what happens. Because this is me just, like, realizing I want to see if I get a feeling. 8.
I think there is tension, but the tension you sense is you don't think it's because of your presence specifically. Like, people are all worried that someone's about to get caught, or it's more like you could tell these are people who are so used to living in this microcosm. I mean, as big as this building is, for all you know, it may full well be an arcology. It's possible anyone who works here lives here.
Right.
But you think it's just more, they are not used to this amount of disruption, exposure, public interest. You know, for those that have to run errands or who don't live here, the media coverage outside, that you think it's just nobody likes where the culture of the business, for lack of a better term, is at right now. It's more that than nervousness that you're about to find their drug ring.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's what, just kind of what a sense of, yeah, that's it. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
I got some.
Go ahead.
While I'm in my room, I'm gonna like just kind of look for microphones or anything like that.
Okay, checking to see if your room is bugged. That's going to be intelligence, which for you should be at least 2 dice. Plus, what do you got for technology? Or do you have survival? Because if you have a certain kind of survival, that is also can be used to find surveillance.
I got engineering.
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
So that plus intelligence.
Yeah, I love my character was paranoid about being shot, but didn't even think about that. It is the perfect thing for Emmett to think about, though.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a 9, 11.
Okay. Are you willing to push your luck? Because you were one shy of what I wanted to see.
Sure. What do I roll for luck?
That's
Any
up to you.
die and you
any,
want-
any die from a D4 to a D12.
And you want an even number?
An even number is in your favor, an odd number is subtracted.
We'll go with the D4.
Okay, so D4.
Ooh.
Roll a 1.
Okay, so...
No,
Down to a 10. Oh,
All right, Beethoven comes out. All right, so...
I want him to be successful in this. This is Emmett. He's paranoid.
No, okay, Doug, it's okay. No, you don't even need to roll for it.
Okay.
Wayne just Beethoven
Beethoven means
is.
you win.
And so
Beethoven.
you automatically... Okay.
Yeah, this is what Emmett does. He's
Yeah.
and he's paranoid and he's good at it and he succeeds.
Okay, so there is surveillance in your room, but when you trace the well, I guess what we'll call a bug. So when you start tracing the surveillance device, you notice that it faces the room at a somewhat unusual angle. It is planted near the front door to the foyer to your room. And yes, your room does have a foyer. And is facing toward the back of that little mini hallway going down your bedroom toward an outside window. So it would maybe catch someone walking into the room, but it's not going to get a whole lot of them. You don't think whatever this is, it's not... You don't think it's you. It's here to observe.
It's looks like it's observing the perimeter. or
Yeah,
the
it appears to
outside.
be looking outside, not
Okay.
inside. Now, once again, it would catch a bit of inside. So if you were to walk past it, it would note you entering the room. It might catch, your head or something.
Okay.
But it's the angle that it's at, unless you went all the way down to the window, it wouldn't catch you.
I'm going to act like I didn't see that little
Wise move.
surveillance thing.
and easy enough to do.
Yeah.
Now that you know where it
Not
is.
pointing it out is a very good move.
And then look out the window.
Okay, so you walk over to the window, and you look out the window. From where you're standing, you are able to get a pretty good view down to where that Roomba was.
Okay. All right, I got a question to ask later.
So you were looking vaguely in the direction the shot came from.
Yeah, I was gonna ask it if they knew where the shot came from.
You've been told that the surveillance in the building was off at the time that this occurred. Now, you don't know if this is part of the standard building surveillance or if this is a separate thing that only a handful of people or maybe no one knows about.
But if the Roomba caught a video of it, they should know where the person was that they caught the video of.
Correct.
Okay.
But to learn anything more about this, you would have to
Interrogate
You'd
the
have to
Roomba?
disturb it, yeah. Well, not the Roomba, I mean the bug in his room. You'd have to start messing with it.
I don't think that was his question. He was asking, do we know where the shot came from, where the guy was when he shot?
Oh,
That's what I was-
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Oh, okay. Yes. I'm sorry.
Was it behind the grassy knoll?
Yes, it was. And except for the fact the Grassy Knoll's a balcony restaurant, he was about midway off a building.
Oh, okay.
But he fired from near a bistro on a relatively secluded outdoor balcony.
Okay. Now, does my room go out to a balcony or by any chance?
Not unless you
or-
got a parachute.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess you'll hit a balcony either way, but not really.
Okay, that's all I got for now.
Okay. All right. So you guys are taken into the room where there is I guess we'll call it a pod. It's a white medical pod, transparent top. It's not the same make and model, but it's similar to the medical storage device that you got Kai out of. this one is smaller. This one was not meant to be moved. I mean, it can be, but there's no shortage of, at any given moment, high-end hardware that is tending to the body that is in storage. And,
all the readouts.
yes, all the readouts. Medical robots you didn't even know had been put into production yet. I mean, things like that.
Yeah, a couple that I have to look at twice to figure out what they're doing. Like, oh, I didn't know they made that. Cool.
But as you enter the room, one of the robots turns, looks at you. It's considered in poor taste to make anything look too human, but in order to interact with it, they do like to make robots somewhat human. And so I would describe this thing's level of facial features as similar to the more advanced androids in the Will Smith iRobot movie, where it's kind of human-ish, but still very rubbery and not quite Uncanny Valley-ish. And he smiles and approaches you and extends a hand. Cold hand, but...
Mary finds this weird, but I think Martagon is used to it, so yes. Accepts the handshake and...
Welcome, Dr. Voigt. I have been told to expect you. You may call me Dr. A. I
Nice.
was the first purchased of the current round of medical units.
I was going to ask, where's B?
Assigned lesser tasks?
A1, we nickname you Saucy.
AKA sauce. Oh my god.
There's a lot at stake on that.
How would you like to begin?
Overall view first, and then look more specifically at the vitals of the patient and the...
Okay, so you're going to go take a look at him. His vitals are stable, but are being sustained by machine. So they're actually wonderful. Probably the healthiest vitals you've ever seen because they're not real, but or at least not unassisted. But
and then I want to go look and see, like, is this because his brainstem is destroyed to a point where it can't, or is it just because we're trying to keep the stress off of it?
More that. It's
Okay.
this would be the equivalent, especially because it's not clear if he's alive or dead, that he is in something close to a medically induced coma.
Okay.
That they will not allow him to regain consciousness until it is determined because it gets into a weird bit of the way they view the law about that. The question is not, is he alive or dead?
Right.
The question is, was he alive or dead the moment it happened? And until that is decided, they're not allowed to even wake him up. Right. Even if it was possible, it is illegal to wake him up because to do so would be to treat him as alive.
But is the physical damage already repaired?
Okay, yes and no. So the physical damage in terms of any degradation to the body below the neck has been treated, smoothed out, but that's not where the major injury was to begin with. There might have been some burn marks or scratches or something, but that's not where the real damage was. The skull, which has a very clear burn mark on it and a very nasty looking one, and if it was not for the fact that you guys do this for a living, this would be a very, very disturbing scene to look at.
I mean, it's still disturbing to me.
Well, I mean, it probably
Not to
should
you.
be.
It's not to me. This is-
But there's definitely a burn mark on his head. His eyes have been closed, and that damage has not been repaired.
Okay.
It is being sustained, but his body is being kept alive by artificial means, such that they could keep the body alive indefinitely. All the things that the autonomic systems, the brain, whatever would normally do, machines are now doing for him.
Okay, and the brain can't get any extra damage for not getting...
But that's correct. It is
There's
stabilized.
enough stasis that
Correct.
it's
But
not going to
they're-
suffer from lack of oxygen or anything else.
But they're not allowed to do even cosmetic repairs to his head until final termination of his perk is made.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's all in the room?
I was assuming all of you.
Yeah, we're all down there.
Unless someone will say they're not
Is
going.
Astrid
No, I
there?
meant,
Is,
like-
Archimedes there?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was coming with me when we were
that's
going
right,
down there.
Yeah.
Are there any other people besides us?
Or just the medical people?
The head of the
Medical
house is
people
still in there. Yeah, the head of so Terovich is still in there.
Non-security dude?
The High Guard, no. And you got the medical robots in there, and there's probably security guards outside, like regular security outside. The High Guard is not currently with you.
Okay. Is it just us as the family here, or no?
Yes, while you are in there, you will be joined by Alicia.
Okay, but
So
we'll
Alicia
have a few
joins you.
minutes before she gets there.
Yes, she
Okay.
comes. She walks in. You're not sure how what she's wearing now is any more functional and less overstated than what she was wearing before. But she comes walking in and has a handkerchief clutched to her mouth and nose. Not that it stinks in here, even really smells like anything. You think it's more of just a subconscious gesture because of how gruesome the scene is in that pod? I mean, it's not blood.
Yeah.
It's not blood and guts. It's just guts. But, I mean, or in this case, someone's brain kind of exposed.
I'm thinking that this is not in polite society, but this is definitely referred to as a glass coffin in the trade. That's...
Yeah, probably. And she tries to walk towards you and then turns away and says, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I just can't bear the sight of him like that."
Oh, I understand. You're fine.
Turvich, you're dismissed. He nods and dutifully leaves the room.
She's taking a minute to just keep looking over scans of things, and then she'll turn away from it and so that move to a place where she can talk to Alicia without her having to be directly facing.
Alicia accepts, probably even picks up what you're doing. This is definitely not a dumb woman. This woman's, there's a role that she's playing. There's a role that life has forced her to play, but then there's who she really is. And I don't mean to say that who she really is like a hard-working dancer trying to come up in New York City. But I mean, She
had a job before this that probably required
and she's had some outside. She hasn't spent her whole life in this, and she's got. And probably because her role requires her to have it. She has her own savvy. She has her own acumen because her role requires it.
Right.
And she kind of picks up what you're doing and takes that spot where she can't see the body and says, I can guess what it's like for you, all of you, to see this scene.
It is something we are familiar with, yes.
I don't mean my ex. Well, I should say, I don't mean my husband. She would not say ex or late. I don't mean my husband. I mean this whole place.
I mean, no.
The medical nature of it, or the
I think she
the
means
planet
the whole house.
I mean the very, very unique and stifling culture that is Midian.
It is unfamiliar, yes.
It's very.
It is a bit overwhelming.
How long have you been here? How long have you lived in Midian?
I have lived somewhere on the planet most of my life. I have not always lived here, but I have lived here for some time. I think what I want to communicate is that as excessive as this life is, as in some ways both remarkable and terrifying as this life is, that one of the pains that we struggle with deeply here is how few people we are allowed to trust and allowed to know. And so when we lose one of them, it's different for us. I don't think that anyone, I know people out there, or have known people who have lost someone and had no one left. I have very few left. I hope that what you do will be fair and compassionate, because for whatever you see around you and whatever that stirs up in your spirit, we are still people living in a very confusing place.
I can assure you, we would not let any personal feelings interfere with this investigation. We're here to find out what is his percentage. Was someone trying to kill him? We want to build this case. And not to be I don't want to offend, but he could be anybody. We would treat it the same way.
I appreciate that. If there's nothing more that you require from me, then I'll get out of your way so that I'm not influencing your investigation.
Can I ask you something before you leave real quick?
Of course.
Do you know how he was going to vote for those bills by any chance? Or did he keep that to himself?
Would she? Ooh. You know what? I'm not even doing rolls on this. It's a direct question, and she wants this solved. So, there was always some degree of business and politicking that he kept me from because it kept me safer. Because the less I knew, the less anyone could take from me, and therefore the less valuable I'd be to take. But to answer your questions, I can at least give my best guesses on how I think he would vote. But ultimately, if you wanted to know any insight into how the man thinks, well, I am at least observant enough to know where he keeps things around his office.
That is something we would need to look into, his
Definitely.
personal records. Although I would ask, does he have any other confidant that you would know of?
A work confidant?
One of my daughters,
One of them?
Which one?
Valentina. He, despite how similar Cynthia and Valentina are for reasons some more obvious than others, Valentina's always had a bit more of a spark. And I think he saw something in that. He would talk to her about things that I think sometimes he wouldn't even talk to me about.
So out of character, was she the one that was looking off in regret?
Yes.
Okay.
I suppose there's only one other question that I had. Is there anything in his medical history that you know of that would change or influence what we might find?
She motions vaguely toward the pod and says, "One hole in his head. As far as I know, that's all that's significant."
Okay. Understood.
I'm going to do a weird experiment and see if I can figure out what frequency would mess with the surveillance system.
Ooh.
Just kind of like play with...
Are you going to just do that like in the middle of medical base, try and hack the place? Or you, because they've offered to show you everything. So, or do you want to just ask somebody to take you?
Probably be better to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a head of security you could ask to talk to.
Yeah, I want to talk to that guy.
And we'll have, if we have access to the office, then we should have access to.
Yeah, when you
Who's
go to
watching
the
the
head of
office?
security, you're fairly quickly intercepted by Major Cantrell, who shoos the security guard away and says, "Why don't I walk with you? I think it'd, to be honest, they've got their own internal issues, their own... I'm just saying I think you could probably use a set of eyes that are knowledgeable but not biased." Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Nominal aphasia hits again.
Sure. So what happened with the surveillance system on that day? Do you know? Or
Funny thing that. Okay, so you guys hit one of the elevators, start heading down to the security, back in the medical bay. I'll come back to you. Back in the medical bay.
I don't know that I have. The only other thing I want to express to Lady Alicia, is that her title? Is she called Lady, or is she like just?
No, they would typically just call her Mrs. Andrada.
Okay.
But I mean, that said, you can call her what she's... You know, as much as she's aware of the environment she's in, she doesn't seem to have lost herself to it. Mm-hmm. And so she's probably used to being called any number of random things by people trying to get something from her.
That's fair.
And so basically, unless you call her like bitch face, I don't think she's going to react.
No, I think I would just sort of default to Alicia because it's like a distinguishing name.
That's fine. She responds to that. That's fine. She takes no offense. She takes it in stride.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know that while we will be as thorough and as unbiased as we can be here, loss is something we are not unfamiliar with. And if we can possibly bring him back, we will.
I appreciate that. I hope I can simply impress upon you that should all things be equal, he was my world.
I would like to prepare you for if we bring him back with what the amount he has lost, there may be things he doesn't remember. He may not be quite the same. I truly hope we find and we're able to bring him back, but I do just want to prepare you for that sometimes the nature of the injury can cause some confusion.
I'll do my best to help him. I'll get the best specialists I can find, and
that's all you can really ask for, to have that type of support.
social support, rehabilitation. I will see to it that all of it is provided for.
We will do what we can.
Thank you. I'll be around if you need me.
Okay.
She excuses herself from the room.
The question I have not
You
yet.
get a note from Henry Leon that your contract has just changed.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Right.
Before I read that,
Yeah.
what we got an estimate of 50-60%. What does the machinery tell me in terms of how much of his brain is left?
48.3, which is just below the legal limit of the Core League.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Core League has the most generous laws of any place that bothers having such laws. So go out into colonies and who
Right.
cares? But within within the civilized galaxy, Core has the most generous laws at 50%, and he is just shy of it. 48.3. This would not be a hard upsell, but you will need a reason of why he
Deserves.
He is legally dead.
Yeah.
But at 48.3, it wouldn't take a big reason to bring him back.
Especially not somebody that's important with
Correct.
this much political backing and reason to want him back. Okay.
Did Mardigan tell the rest of us about the X117A?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Because she's still trying to figure out what it is, and so she got sort of absorbed in her own research and didn't think to bring it up yet.
Okay. So, yeah, check the message.
Yeah.
Okay. Your contract is still base 2, negotiated 2, the
That was negotiated 3.
Yeah, it was negotiated. Well, it was 2
Plus another
2
3.
plus 3 negotiated 2.
I feel like I'm in...
Hold on.
I feel like I'm in the end of
It should
Clue
be
now.
five.
Right.
Should be
Two
five.
was the uproll.
Yeah.
2 was the negotiation. What was the base pay either way?
Base was 2,000, 200K.
Okay.
And then we had a bonus of 300K if we get him back alive.
Okay, and then you bargain that up another 2. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and split those coins. So right now your base guaranteed is 3.
Okay.
Your bonus for finding him alive just went up by 200 grand
Oh.
and is now up to 600 grand. So this is nearly $1 million contract.
Okay.
That's a lot of upgrades to the
That
ship.
is.
That is very
Do we have
interesting.
any idea what might have prompted that?
You just got done talking to Alicia.
Right, but we
Maybe they
weren't
hired him.
broadcasting that.
Yeah, but she may have been the one that hired him. So once she got done talking with you,
If Two Hills was the one that actually put the job on the books,
Right.
maybe he found something out while he was...
That's my question, is
Yeah.
who found out what, because it wasn't directly related to what we were saying. Because if it happened while we were talking to her,
Right now you've got a couple major leads for investigation.
yeah.
One is within the building itself, so within the Andrada compound. The other is to go across town a bit to
that'll likely be me.
Maris.
Maris's compound. The third lead that you have is Dr. Gary. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth one is that Amber Brooks knows something about this
And she really wants to talk to
because someone
this
on
guy.
her bridge
I will
may
talk to
very
her.
well be the trigger man.
Right.
And so I realize it's kind of an awkward spot.
Yeah, but it's 11.
Yeah.
But it's 11, and this is about, and these next couple of things. So let me write down those 4 real quick. So we have.
And don't forget to write down that we're getting ready to do Doug's security thing.
So Andrada. That will go ahead and resolve. So let's do one thing. Let's do. Okay. So there's Andrada. There's
Maris.
Maris.
I'm very interested in going through the journals. I kind of feel like next session might be a split the party thing because
I'm
we
gonna
each
go-
have specific things we're interested in digging into.
I
Yeah.
absolutely need to go study where it was shot from because that's my job in
Dr.
general.
Gary, and then suddenly blanked out what your fourth lead was.
Huh?
Dr. Gary.
Amber Brooks.
Amber Brooks.
Amber Brooks is your fourth lead. Okay, so making a note of those. Okay, so Doug, we will close out then on you going down to the security. And I do have a question for you guys, which is who is going where, and if you want to go through them together so you're not splitting the party, then I will make sure that I'm not going to force you to split the party. Like there's information you can only get. I mean, especially since from anywhere you can make a
I would say we
phone
have angel
call.
contact. Like, yeah.
You can make a phone call from anywhere. So, all right. So Doug, you go down to the main security suite. It's about midway through the building, and there is actually an entire floor dedicated to the security personnel. It has quarters. It has a shooting range. It has classrooms. It's got various camera rooms, things like that, observation rooms. This is kind of the beating heart of security for the whole place. You also notice pretty quickly that this is the only floor of the building you've seen so far that has no windows. Like, literally none. There are some that, for the sake of keeping people from going nuts, are doing balanced light projections, but you're smart enough and an engineer, you know when you're looking at a projection versus a real window. So there's something there that does seem to reflect what's actually outside, just so people don't feel too cooped up, but none of these are real.
Okay.
He takes you to an observation room, and as you guys are walking, you can feel there's a fair bit of tension between the security staff that's present and this guy. That every time he walks past, they're a bit uncomfortable. And you are not sure if that's because of his position, because he does have a very high and prestigious position. You're not sure if it's because of the fact that this is one of those copy pasta, I can kill a man with a quarter sort of things, because he really kind of is that scary.
Or is this just you're an outsider?
Or do they not like the fact that an outsider's poking around in their business? You're not sure what the issue is, but there seems to be some kind of social discomfort between the Andrada guards and the High Guard.
Okay.
So the Major says, so this is where they were. He walks you into a room. You see some consoles, projections, some humans in there, several robots in there. This is where they would normally observe everything from. Whole system went offline on grounds of a rather sophisticated virus implanted here, not necessarily this room, but on premise.
So a virus disabled your security system?
Briefly, it was not terribly long. It did enough that while our own countermeasures, sorry, he wouldn't say that, while their own countermeasures caught the virus and was able to remove it when the system was reset, it did go through a brief reset period. So it was offline for about 30 seconds. Now, once it started up again, security caught it and removed it.
Okay. I'm going to look around and make sure. Is there anyone watching me? Or is
There's people all over the place down here.
Is anyone looking at us in particular when we're talking, or
There's people close enough by to hear you. You don't. If they're, they probably are because you're the most unusual thing in here, but no one's trying to. What is it you're looking to accomplish?
I'm seeing if anyone's eavesdropping, basically.
If so, it's by virtue of the size of the room and the number of people in there. It's not because they are trying to.
Okay. All right. I asked him, do you know if all of the surveillance was disabled by any chance, or
Everything that was within that network.
do you have an idea where that shot was taken from?
Would they know?
I thought we knew.
You know.
Yeah.
But if correct me if I'm wrong, how I know you guys got it from the footage on the Roomba.
Matthias found it. It was.
I remember
but I don't
asking the
remember-
question on the episode
I thought
of was this public knowledge, and the answer was yes, because that's the only reason that they're admitting anything happened was because the footage got leaked.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought we could discern a vague direction. We don't know exactly
Yes.
like where, but
You can
like a vague
yes,
idea.
you can discern a vague direction. So you've been looking in that direction. So you know what's over there, at least know how to find what's over there.
Yeah, because I asked the question because I was going to have the footage get leaked of the sniper if it wasn't already out there, but it was out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was just Matthias was really good at the spoogle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Doug, is there anything else you want on this visit? You will obviously be able to come back later, but is there anything else you want to try for right this second?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
Can I get a clarification?
Sure.
Was it the virus itself that downed the system, or was it the system finding the virus and having to reset that turned off the cameras for long
That's a
enough to take
fabulous
shot?
question. He gave an answer to that, but you're not sure he would know.
Okay.
The answer that he gave, that the high guard, the major gave, we should start calling him majors to differentiate him from the other guards.
That's what I've been writing.
But yeah, the major, what he said was the virus was caught when the system reset. So basically it was self-checking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which came first? Did the virus force the system down, or did the system cut itself off to
Deal with the virus.
get rid of the virus?
Okay.
That you don't know.
Okay.
That would be a wonderful thing if you want to note that to investigate.
Okay.
Matthias.
Now,
can
and it's
go with you.
possible their security would know,
Right.
but
The question hasn't been asked, and
Yeah,
the major does not.
and the major's not a technologist.
Gotcha.
He's very good at what he does, and doing computer stuff is really not his specialty.
Charles. So now you want us to tell you what we're doing?
Well, at least let me know this. Do you guys intend to stick together and make calls or move from place to place, or do you guys genuinely intend to separate?
I'll probably go by myself for my two things because they're.
So
better
in
by
your
myself.
case, okay.
I'm gonna go check out the Maris.
So Sky, you're gonna do Maris.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to because my
Charlie.
sniping.
Oh, that's Charlie Nova. Sorry, we had the dog storming in here. All right, what'd you
because
do?
of my knowledge on sniping, I'm gonna try to set up where the sniper was and discern
Okay,
where.
so
it hit.
you're going to talk to Maris, and you're also going to check the sniping position.
And then I'm also going to talk to Amber Rose at some point. So those are my
Amber
things.
Brooks.
Brooks, dang it. Amber Brooks.
Who is Amber Rose?
She's a really hot woman. That's
I know.
Yeah,
All I can say is apparently in my mind now, Amber Brooks has a big, thick booty.
Oh
Yeah.
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 I'll show you a picture.
That's now all I'm
Anyway,
picturing. She just has a huge.
That's just what she looks
she
like
got
to
a
me in my
big,
brain
thick
now
ass
too.
booty.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, because mine are so like very me only. Like, I probably won't bring a bit with me.
Okay, Wade.
I said my big focus is going to be trying to read through the journals, and I kind of see that as he would want to be alone, solitary while digging into them.
When you say journals, do you mean the ones that he keeps in his office?
Yes.
So you're going to stay at Andrada, specifically the office.
Yes.
Okay. Emmett.
I'm gonna try and investigate the virus, I guess.
Okay, so you're staying at Andrada to look into the virus. Okay, and last but not least, Mardigan.
I think she's going to stay at Andrada for the first part to kind of comb through some of his genetic information and see if she can find any indicators of what this mysterious compound might have done.
Ah, okay.
And then after that, depending on what she finds, either go search the office with Wade or go talk directly to Dr. Gary. But that'll
Okay,
depend.
so Andrada and Dr. Gary with a focus on what is X117A. Okay, cool. That's all the notes I need. It's for you guys. So once again, thank you for tuning in as always. And if I remember, I'll put a link to the galaxy map in the show notes. I think that was in an earlier episode if I forget. But we will catch everyone in a couple of weeks.